Flashback to the top episodes of 2025. Hi everyone, it's your host Jim Hamill. Back on a more recent episode of this 5th season, we learned about Here and Now Brewing Company and a lot of the names behind the pizzas that the chef and his team creates. Enjoy this listen back to number 4 on the podcast.
It always has to start with the. That's akin to a movie that'll show of all time, which is Seinfeld, which I kind of grew up on. And all of the episodes of Seinfeld start with the.
Welcome everyone to Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm your host Jim Hamill. This is episode 27 of season 5. We're diving into what makes a local favorite tick: seasonal ingredients, creative freedom, and a deep connection to the community. We are catching up with my good friend Ben Cooper of Here and Now Brewing Company in Honesdale. Ben and his team are constantly evolving their menu, drawing inspiration from local farmers, fellow chefs, and even casual conversations over beers and pizza. It's a behind-the-scenes look at how collaboration and passion fuel one of the most dynamic spots in the Pocono culinary scene. More on that in just a bit. The Poconos is a year-round destination for millions, with 2,400 square miles of mountains, forests, lakes, and rivers, with historic downtowns and iconic family resorts. It's the perfect getaway. You can always find out more at PoconoMountains.com or watch PTN, the Pocono Television Network, streaming live 24/7. Now back to the episode. The brewery on Main Street in Honesdale offers pizza and not pizza. Lots of great drinks. Let's head into the brewery and hear what's cooking. Literally and figuratively, here and now. Enjoy.
It was really easy tonight for a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think that what we're doing at Here and Now Brewing Company in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. You gotta stop doing that. I'm sorry. That was like my one. That was my one. But no, it's amazing. People around here often just bank on the summer months, and we definitely had a busy summer, but it's the fall really helps us too.
Yeah. In midweek, I feel like people want to come out here because your food is great, the ambiance is great, and you guys take great care of, I've been a customer here since before you guys even had the restaurant open. It was pouring growlers in the back.
Sure.
I was pretty much one of the first in line.
I remember.
And you haven't been able to get rid of me yet.
As hard as we try.
We've tried. Yeah. So you very much have been the brains, if not the brawn, behind the food operation. And yes, you do imbibe here and there, but that's a separate thing. You don't brew.
No.
You don't. You do use brew ingredients.
There's been times with this operation that we've all had to just jump into different roles and help out where we can. But people have always that. A lot of friends and family have always been really intrigued by the brewing process. So we often get some free labor to come in and help out with the brewing process, just as to learn, just to learn the process. We have a beautiful setup there. We've always had smart, talented brewers that are good at teaching people. So it's been nice to work in tandem with the brewery and help out where we can, and they help out the kitchen and front of house where they can, and it's always just been a family vibe at Here and Now.
It has. You guys even have expanded over time. I feel like there was this organic way in which, and I'm sure Allaina could also speak to this, but you are the one on the hot seat tonight. You started in the back brewing, getting the, beer kind of dialed in, but then gutted really what this whole first floor was, turned this into fantastic bar. And then over time too, the gift shop, back room, all of that's come together. So it's just been a steady new flow.
Yeah. That to that point, when Allaina and I first started this project, I had no construction experience.
But you had to.
But I had to. And that's still like a fun part when this place continues to grow and we're working on new projects, and it's like being able to step out.
But this place too is like a source of pride for like how much you and your team pour into pizzas and
Oh, you like that?
yeah.
Yep.
So the pizzas and the menus and like the dishes that you like send out, and like, you know, because you want to, you know, share them with the people that you want to share them with.
Yeah, and it's again like working with you know, my better half, the love of my life, who kind of lets us have an open concept with this, such that like we can create what we're feeling at any given time. Has been like really inspirational, really awesome. It kind of forces us to just keep things fresh and keep us honest with like the product that we're putting out, because it's always changing. It's just, we talk all the time, like in the kitchen and in the brewery and front of house with drinks, about what's in season, like what we're inspired about, what we have to use up. And that dictates a lot of what we put out from here and now. And if we weren't doing it like that, it would get pretty stale. And I think that people would feel that. And that's not something that we want to get into. So
Yeah.
we're constantly working on just new ideas and keeping things fresh.
As a full disclosure for our listeners or anybody else, like, full disclosure, we're friends. We recreate, you know, either on the golf courses. We did a Woodlock Tuesday Night League for a season.
Yep.
We needed couples therapy.
Yeah.
But we also, like, I think, made all the connections with various other people, whether it's in the industry or in the area. And
Yeah, it's a great community here. I've only been here a dozen years now, but it still kind of feels fresh and different, that everyone is pretty on the same page about just like making this area for everyone and like not stepping on toes. And you know, just even if we're doing similar products, similar things, like we all have our own, you know, client base, or just like can offer something different to everyone. So it's been really nice working with, and yeah, being able to golf or go to concerts with, you know, different folks in the community. And just, again, that's kind of, you know, starts the inspiration process of like doing new ideas, whether it be beer or pizza or cocktails or something like that. You sort of are like, you know, hanging out with these people and seeing what they're doing or what they're into. And it makes it really, it kind of makes it easier to come in and like come up with a pizza special, or, you know, just like, cause you had an idea, you were talking with somebody, you know, that gave you an idea or is doing something similar, and you want to just change it a little bit and, you know, spin it your own way. I actually moved out to this area to work at the Anthill Farm, right out of culinary school. And I feel very connected with all the farmers that I met, and doing that for a year. And this was for them. A lot of them are at that Wayne County's farmers market. And when they hatched this idea, was really excited about it, but also like wanted to make it, you know, make sense for everyone. So like a couple of us, you know, like did talk to each other, which I think is so cool, because I've worked, you know, in other areas and similar events, you know, it's kind of just like, I'm doing this, and if you do the same thing, you're copying me.
Yeah.
But we like talked about it, and we worked on it, and just, we didn't all want to like use the same ingredient from one farmer,
Right.
because that doesn't really spread it around, you know, like,
True.
it makes it more competitive. And it wasn't about that. It was just about like highlighting what these farmers had and what we could do with it. So
Yes.
we did like all talk about it, and made sure that we had kind of like, you know, a vast menu throughout the market. Like we were all doing kind of something different. And I think it came out really well. We were proud of that.
So middle of the week, your guys' week looks like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes you get a lobster food truck on a Sunday.
Yep.
But like, you guys take a few days off to really recalibrate and make sure those 4 days on are solid.
Yeah, another thing we've had to work on throughout the years of just kind of, as we're saying, of just like keeping things fresh and local and seasonal and whimsical, is just, focusing on when we, get the most of our business and, are all like, we like to make sure that people that work for us and with us are having their own time off too. That can be like a pretty tough thing in this industry of like little time off to do things outside of it. And I've been through that, and other people that worked here have been through that. And that's where things get stale and just kind of like, you don't want to necessarily come into work. So we've just figured that, let's just focus on, instead of trying to spread ourselves too thin, let's just focus on 4 days a week and make sure that those are the best 4 days a week that we have, as opposed to just, trying to open more and burning people out. Is just, we never wanted to do that. And again, I think we tried other situations, other ways throughout the years, but really the business here is, matches up with what we're trying to do. So
yeah,
so I'm working out.
I had your special pizza tonight for the second time.
Feature pizza.
It's
I was told way back in the day when I started in this industry, it was a chef who I'll leave out, but didn't like the term special.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like, everything we do is special.
That's true.
So we've always, and that's something that we've drilled into our workers here, but also like the clientele that comes in, of just like, I know it's kind of a common phrase of just like a special pizza, or
I say it without even thinking.
Special.
Yeah.
But we just, try to focus on it's featured,
Understood.
It's a feature because everything we do is special.
You guys were featured on that pizza doc.
Yeah.
On WVIA.
That was one of the coolest things.
That was really
besides
cool.
This podcast,
Kelly did great work there.
That might have been one of the coolest things in my career that I was a part of. Because Kelly did like a really amazing job at filming that. And not, I don't think it's bragging, but like we have, ever since we opened, we've done several, promotional type deals and like had people come in with cameras and just kind of shoot shots of us working the kitchen and this and that. Yeah. And they've all been really cool. Like, honestly, it's nice that, again, just my better half can like, kind of pick and choose the ones that we do. And she always like is working with, great people and places that are going to highlight us in the right way. But that pizza documentary was something that was just kind of on the schedule one day of like, this, person's coming in with a camera and going to shoot about our pizzas. We're known for our pizzas. She's going to come do it. And it ended up being like she came back. It was like a full day.
And here for like a jazz night too. Like,
so she came back a couple of times to, focus on like, or highlight like the jazz night. Mm-hmm. And just like getting the right, sound clips and B-roll and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we waited a while, and then when we finally got to see it, we were absolutely blown away.
Yeah.
And then how she put it all together, they put it all together in this great, documentary of this really popular thing around Northeast Pennsylvania.
I was just going to say, this is, I'm a little biased. My wife's from down Luzerne County way. Some stellar traditional pizza places, and then to have you guys included, because I wouldn't call you guys traditional pizza.
No.
By any means. However, it's as good as the pizza I've had anywhere on this planet. And I've traveled, and I clearly have eaten while I've traveled. So
clearly.
Clearly. Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. It's still tough because it is something that like people have their own, like regionally pizza is such a thing. And then on top of that, it's like, it's like those food memories of just like who hasn't gotten just like takeout, or just like their local takeout pizza place and just like young. That's something that you can like feed your kids as they're growing up. And it's just creating those memories. And depending on where you are when you grow up, it becomes like, this is how pizza's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I kind of had that. I mean, I grew up in Western Massachusetts. Like, neighborhood pizza was like our place. And like, it was a New York style pie that was kind of like what we had, and it was good. But even when I moved out to Pennsylvania, to NEPA here, I went a few years without, the true, and I don't even want to screw anything up, but just like the tray pizzas, or just like the old forge style out here was something that, like, growing up in Massachusetts, like, we didn't know about that.
No.
And then, like, move out here and, like, once you start, like, finally try it, I think, and again, I don't want to upset anyone or anything, right. But like
don't be controversial on a podcast. That's not allowed.
Can't do that.
That is not allowed.
Can't do that. Edit me out. But the first, like, a memorable pizza experience moving out here was like a good friend when I was at the farm. And a good friend, Brian Fox, was coming over to play cards one night after, like, a long day out in the fields. He was a good buddy, and he came over, we were playing cards, and he stopped at the Waymart Hotel in Waymart. And brought
delicacy right there, my friend.
And that was the first, like, I honestly think it was like one of the first, like, tray pies, like, closest to.
That's a pretty great first try.
Yeah, I mean, it was phenomenal. I was hooked. I still love it, but it was like only like years later I realized that it was a thing, and like making the pilgrimage, to Old Forge, where, Allaina would, she grew up here, so she knew these places of like Arcaro and Janelle's. There's a bunch. I can't remember all of them, but amazing how they were like, to see for the first time, it's just like, oh, they're right, like, across the street from each other. Just like, this is even, it's almost like, it reminded me too of like a Geno's and Pat's thing with like cheesesteak down in Philly, of like, that's what you kind of hear. And again, growing up, like, my parents were foodies. Like, we loved watching the Food Network and these travel food shows. And like, like, we'd see that down in Philly and be like, oh, cool. Like, they're right across the street, Geno's and Pat. Like, you got to go one and like get the other. And then it's like moving closer up here, and just like, I've spent a lot of time in Philly, but going down a couple of times, you talk to a lot of people who like do know the scene, and they're like, fuck Pat's and Geno's. Like, the best ones, Angelo.
That's not the Del Sandro's or wherever. You need to get
and that's kind of in the valley here. Couple 2-3 places,
that's
you
right.
know about the ones that have gotten fame. But there's also just like a lot of like small little bars that have just been doing this pizza, like their play on this dough, sauce, and cheese, dish that is just really cool to like be able to go around and just like try a bunch of different ones and have this like rapport with your friends or buddies of like, oh, you have tried this one. Have you ever tried this one?
Yeah.
And it's all like, the ones that are known, like, they are for good reason, of just like getting the, Barstool pizza reviews and stuff like that is like worth it. But it's also amazing how, not far from us is just this like mecca of the
cult following.
Yeah, it's like cult following of these pizza.
I have, and others have probably marveled at the names. One in particular is the vacation meeting, which happened right before my employment for the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau. And it happened here, and there was a meeting, and there were some like locals who turned out, and you guys made a great pizza with basil, pesto, caramelized onions, ricotta, correct?
Yeah, I believe it's pronounced ricotta.
Ricotta. I don't know.
I gotta laugh from Allaina on that one. No, ricotta. That one, yeah. So I, again, like, coming up with these pizzas has become just so situational at times, but a lot of them are kind of classic, or just have been done by some of the millions of pizza places that are in this world. But what makes ours kind of unique, but other than our dough and the ingredients and stuff, is the names. Like, I love coming up with the names, because we never wanted to just, call them what they were. The vacation meeting was conceived during a meeting about people vacationing to Northeast Pennsylvania. But that was the first time that I put a basil pesto on our dough. And then if I remember correctly, we had done a lot of caramelized onions, and we had just been starting to make our own fresh ricotta cheese, as I call it. And we just thought of like, what if we combine those two? So we mixed up the cheese with the caramelized onions, put that on top of the basil pesto, and just, for that party. And just because that, was delicious. We got a lot of high praise. We're like, we have to keep doing this pizza. What are we going to call it? The vacation meeting.
Yeah.
And it's, it always has to start with that's akin to the movie that'll show of all time, which is Seinfeld, which I kind of grew up on. And all of the episodes of Seinfeld start with the. So as soon as we, had this ability to like build the pizza menu and kind of call them different wacky names, my big thing was that they all have to start with the in honor of Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld, and their creation of the best sitcom of all time.
Episode. And you have one. I mean, I don't know if you can.
Hernandez Keith Hernandez was a good one. I would say that my favorite Seinfeld episode is the cigar store India. And there's but I can sit here and come up with like a food, like make a pizza over that exact episode. It would be Chinese food, like a takeout Chinese theme of a pizza for one of the great scenes of that episode when Jerry asked the mailman where the Chinese food restaurant is, and the mailman, who happens to be Chinese, says, "Oh, why do I have to know where the Chinese food is? Just because I'm Chinese?" And Jerry says, No, because you're the mailman. I figured you'd know the neighborhood. But yeah, that one's got a lot of good puns. I love that humor.
Gosh, yeah.
And it kind of, obviously, like you can tell of how I come up with some of these pizza names is they're kind of, abstract and dry at times, but that's what, keeps us going. One of the things that keeps us going in the bag is coming up with these new ideas of sometimes we'll come up with the ingredients and then come up with a name, but there's also times where we'll have a good name and we'll come up with the pizza based on that. And I could totally give you an example on the next podcast that we have.
Nice. I mean, I'll just list them off. The LeBrian, okay. The vacation meeting we talked about. The protein.
Do you want me to go through all these?
No,
because it'd be fun.
No, I mean, I would love it. And that'll be
quick.
That's where we're going to have the hook in, man. They're going to come back more later on.
Tune in next week.
The It's About Time, the Margotarian, the Wham Bam Thank You Clam, the Dinner Party, Ray of Honor. But the Oscar,
right, is modeled after the Garbage Plate. I think from your neck of the woods, or where you're school, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was another, as I said before, my parents were, big foodies and like loved to kind of just like go on day trips or road trips to get the best burger or hot dog or just kind of regional specialties. And my mother's family is from Buffalo, New York. Yeah. So growing up, we drove to Buffalo probably 2 or 3 times a year
through the rock.
Is that what it's called?
The Rock. Yeah.
The Rock. And yeah, we saw that. And how cool. Yeah. The Garbage Plate is just, as I remember it, was just, I know it's a specific, like there's, macaroni and meat sauce and overfigured fries remember chopped up meats and whatever. Yeah. But it's essentially just whatever's kind of around, whatever. But the Oscar is our take on the Garbage Plate, where every topping that we have, like all the pizza toppings, and then we throw in, toppings from the salads, and we put an order of fries on there. Yeah, all the sauces and garnishes that we have all go on that pizza. and it's a lot. I think there was a time that we had a contest with the Oscar that if one person could finish the entire pizza in one sitting, we would, they wouldn't have to pay for it, and we would do something that we never had to do because no one was ever able to do it. That's especially because once that contest was a thing, we made sure that pizza was super loaded.
Not inedible, but not entirely.
It was hard to eat for how much feta was on that pizza. It was just a lot of food. But now, it's just a really cool way to kind of highlight, to use everything, all the ingredients that we're using back in the kitchen. And amazingly, like, we've gotten a lot, we still sell a decent amount of them, not as the challenge, so they're more approachable to eat, but everything kind of works together when you just have that mismatch or everything, but they're all good flavors and they all kind of work well together.
They do. We come back often.
As excuse me for forgetting, I'm sure people are wondering, I mentioned the garbage plates. I'm all about the garbage plate. And Oscar, the Oscar, refers to Oscar the Grouch, who lived in a garbage can.
And Ben, now you just blew my mind.
Yep.
I didn't realize till now how actually smart you are.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm surprised it's taken you so long, but
the appreciation was lingering.
Yeah, the naming of the pizzas is a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes confusing, but again, that's just part of our, the way we do things here. And there's descriptions, and you can always ask the server. Yeah,
I've seen on TV. I'm getting it.
That one's pretty vague.
That's pretty very vague. Yeah, I mean, obviously,
fortunately, it wasn't. It was actually for your former employer.
The old TV
where we were featured on WNEP's Home and Backyard.
Yeah.
And we did the Oscar pizza for that. And it was a pretty epic video filming, where we just added a lot to it. And that clip of is still floating around out there. So instead of trying to explain in a couple of words on the menu, we just put as seen on TV, which I'm sure that still airs somewhere at some time.
Can I be honest with you, though? Like, really, as we're maybe winding things down here, I see so much on this menu, but I literally don't see any fish.
Well, if you look hard enough, you'll see a lot of references throughout the menu.
Yeah,
to the great.
And you really staved off the mention at any time here on this podcast.
In addition, I feel like we just talked about the pizza and how awesome the place looks and everything, but something that we've been working hard on, I think we're starting to get there, is here now is more than just pizza and beer. Non-alcoholic drink options, but like the cocktails, we're doing wine now. But even in the kitchen, we've gotten people love our pizza and we love doing them, but it also is like a lot to get bogged down with pizza. So we've also been doing a lot of other things in the kitchen. Most notably our smash burgers. That's something else that
you think you're on their menu?
What was it? 2 years ago, my friend CJ and I were going down to Madison Square Garden for a Fish concert.
Yep.
We got there early. We actually went to a little place called Hamburger America, which is, what's the guy's name? Motz? Something Motz. But he is he wrote a really awesome book by the same name, Hamburger America, and it highlights all the regional specialties of burgers across the country. And he opened up a spot in Manhattan.
Yep.
And what he kind of focused on was the Oklahoma Smash Burger, which is like a beef patty, topped with like thinly shaved onions and then smashed in the griddle. We had one out there and it was, again, like inspirational. So I wanted to come back and sort of do our own take on it, which we have, but also focusing, on the locality of the product, which is very important to me, getting in the right, local, because we have a lot of beef farmers around here.
True.
And when they have,
area, they've shifted a lot.
yeah, when we have beef, raised close to home, and we have the opportunity to buy it, we love doing these smash burgers. And actually Wednesday, unfortunately, we didn't have a smash burger night tonight on this Wednesday. But more often than not, in these kind of slower winter months, we focus on these smash burgers in-house, like kind of a Wednesday only type thing.
They'd be a feature.
But they've gotten pretty popular. Yeah. People really started coming in for them, and we kind of, take them off when we run out of the beef, and people still come in looking for them. So I think that, talking to a couple farmers and maybe in a couple of weeks, there might be a good opportunity to sort of offer our well-known smash burgers
More than one night.
Wait, more than one night.
Maybe
even for a whole week.
Are you talking about a certain week in November?
It's that could line up perfectly with my time frame there. Yeah,
because
I think like the
chance would have it.
First week in November.
Chance would have it that we're talking more globally about a restaurant week.
Really?
That week could be the week you guys have your smash burgers, and I don't know, pair it with a nice beer.
Wow,
I don't know.
That's a great idea. So if you could come in here now and get like any day that we're open that week, and you could come in and get one of our, pretty popular smash burgers and maybe a pint of one of our beers, and it would kind of be like a package deal.
Yeah,
that's a heck of an idea.
Dan Cooper here now. Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
It's clear that Here and Now Brewing Company is more than just a place to grab a great beer or a slice. It's a hub of creativity, collaboration, and community spirit. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. We'll have a new episode each week highlighting lots of the fun things you can experience while you're visiting the Poconos. Subscribe and leave a review and or comment on whatever platform you listen. We certainly hope you enjoyed Pocono Mountains Podcast. Please remember to subscribe anywhere podcasts are available. Come visit us in the Pocono Mountains. Plan your trip today.